The Broncos got their first taste of what the season opener against the Titans might feel like, moving practice on Saturday from UC Health Training Center down to Empower Field at Mile High. Hello, I'm Phil Milani. Thank you for joining us for our Broncos Camp Daily Recap. A little bit of a different feel today. The Broncos tried to, as best as they could, simulate what a game day might feel like. They did pregame warm-ups, went inside the locker room for a halftime of sorts. And, the big thing for that season opener, no fans allowed. So for the first time this training camp, they pumped in artificial crowd noise.
It was really weird, without a doubt. You sounds like there's fans here, and you look up and there's no one behind anyone on the sideline. It was weird. But it does add a little bit there. We're not just out of practice where it's completely quiet and, nothing's going on. It's definitely a little different.
It's different. It's definitely different. It's definitely not the same, as having, all the fans in there, having all the Broncos country in there. But, the crowd noise, it does the job. It does the job in my opinion.
Let's bring in Aric DiLalla now, who's at Empower Field at Mile High. Aric, it sounds like for the offense, it's a good thing this was just a run-through.
Yeah, Phil, hopefully the offense will look better on September 14th when the Titans come to town. Drew Lock threw a couple of interceptions. We weren't quite sharp in the red zone or really in a move-the-ball period either. You could say the defense had the upper hand all day long. But Drew Lock did say, I'd rather struggle now in August and be great toward the end of the season. He said he learned that attitude at Missouri, and he's carrying it over now to his time with the Broncos. And Vic Fangio said, hey, you can also look at this as the defense had a really good practice. They were able to get 4 interceptions overall, stayed strong in the red zone like we mentioned. And so while we're focusing on the offense, Phil, maybe the defense just had a nice day.
And we heard Von Miller say, hey, look, they got too many weapons on that side of the ball to be worried right now. We always knew that the offense was going to start a little bit slow just because of the lack of offseason, really. And here's what Drew Lock had to say after Saturday's practice.
I feel like if you find a quarterback that's not upset and hurt to the core after a practice where, you kind of get your butt kicked and then you got the wrong guy leading your team. So, of course, right now I'm upset. Would rather play a lot better. But it's a learning moment for me. That's where you got to go after the fact. After you get out the, wow, that was bad, upset, beating yourself up. You can do that for probably half hour after the game. Obviously, the emotions are running high. I'm going to do that for probably the next 10 more minutes, and I'm going to let it go. I'm going to figure out what I did wrong, watch my feet. I'm going to watch the plays and watch what the defense did, see if they brought something different today, and just really try to correct myself.
I think today will be a very good learning experience for him and for the entire offense. There was some interceptions out there. As always, there's a story behind every interception, whether it be poor read on his part, poor throw on his part, poor route on somebody else's part, some route not being run exactly the way he was anticipating him. So we'll get to the bottom of those and get to the story behind each and every one. And I do think it's something that he can correct. And I think today was a very valuable day for him.
We swapped out Aric DiLalla for Sidney Jones now. And Sidney, on Saturday, in addition to the Broncos offense struggling, they now have a concern at right guard with an injury.
Yeah, Phil, Graham Glasgow tweaked his ankle early in practice today. And Vic Fangio said to the media that they don't know the severity of his injury yet.
Yeah, Glasgow left practice early and went back to the Broncos locker room. On the other side of the ball, we also saw Bradley Chubb leave practice early.
Yeah, Phil, we did. Bradley said that something just didn't feel right in his left knee, and we saw him on the sideline with ice on it. And Vic even said in the press conference afterwards that they just took him out as a precaution.
Yeah, obviously a concern there for Chubb as he works his way back from a torn ACL. We saw trainers looking at that same left knee that he injured last year. So something to definitely keep an eye on here as we move forward. The Broncos now just about 2 weeks away from that season opener. The good news, though, after practice, we heard from Von Miller, and in a way only he can. He said, there's nothing to worry about.
I was telling him, we Ferraris, Ferraris sometimes, the check engine light come on, and that doesn't mean that the car is broken or anything like that. You just got to, get back in the lab, figure out what's going on and, get back at it. Bradley's good. it was he was kind of disappointed not to be out there and scrimmage and stuff, but that's just part of it. He's still working his way back. He'll be ready to go for the first game. I got all the faith in him.
Vaughn always likes to find a way to use that Ferrari reference, and he even snuck in a "let's get back in the lab." Vaughn, though, did say that his offseason work is paying off so far throughout camp. He feels like his conditioning is much better. The Broncos wrap things up on Saturday by having a conversation with Denver Mayor Michael Hancock. Head coach Vic Fangio said that the mayor wanted to speak with the team and that the team wanted to speak with the mayor on finding ways to promote racial justice. The team is off on Sunday, so we'll be back Monday. Until then, for Aric, DiLalla, and Sidney Jones, I'm Phil Milani. This has been our Broncos Camp Daily Recap.